Come on, you skip smoking!
He crashed the NBA Finals, illegally climbed the Pyramid of Giza, and even assaulted a woman.
I'm gonna rob you if you keep walking away.
All for clout. And that clout funded his outrageous lifestyle, from a $2 million home in Los Angeles to luxury cars like a Lamborghini Aventador and a Rolls-Royce Wraith. Everything changed when Vitali did the unthinkable. This garbage collector turned YouTuber, streamer, prank influencer, D-bag is now looking at possibly 24 years in one of the Philippines' most brutal prisons. With the president publicly vowing to make him a scapegoat, Vitali might end up spending his entire youth behind bars. We're about to pull back the curtain on the rise and fall of Vitali's insane lifestyle. Whoever said you need to be sane to live in luxury clearly never met Vitaly Zdorovetskiy. The Russian-born streamer has always craved attention and knew exactly how to spend the money that came with it. We're talking about his infamous white Lamborghini, a garage full of supercars, and a multi-million-dollar mansion in the hills of Los Angeles. For a guy doing the craziest stunts on YouTube, you'd expect him to be a little more low-key with his spending. But Vitali has never been shy about his lifestyle. For his then-girlfriend Kinsey Wolanski, he threw an over-the-top birthday party, private jet, Cartier ring, custom wine glasses, designer pajama themes. When he wasn't burning cash in LA, he was flexing in Dubai, the Maldives, or the Bahamas, anywhere with enough neon and paparazzi to fuel his ego. For him, if it's not flashy, exclusive, or borderline ridiculous, it's not worth doing. With Social Blade estimating his YouTube ad revenue at $300,000 a month, it's no wonder that he was living large. But all that shine started to dull when he made the dumbest move of his career, flying to the Philippines and harassing locals on camera. A country known for strict laws and zero tolerance toward foreign disrespect wasn't the place to pull a Vitali stunt. And now, he's looking at a potential jail sentence that could end everything he's built. But before the legal mess, before the public backlash, and before all the lavish spending, Vitali was just another internet kid chasing clout. So, how did he go from viral legend to 2025's biggest international disgrace? The short answer is...
Dude, I think what happened is, I got too much money, way too fast. Young. The fame got to my head. I was living in this $6 million mansion in Miami on the water and
But to understand the full story, we need to rewind the clock to where it all began. Born on March 8, 1992 in Russia, Vitaly Zdorovetskiy moved to the US at 13 with one thing on his mind: getting famous. Even as a kid, he craved attention. And if he's proven anything over the years, it's that he'd go to almost any length to get it. He grew up in the Lake Worth, Florida area and spent 2 years at Park Vista High School before finishing up at Boca Raton High. Life at home wasn't easy. After losing his only sibling, Vitali stepped up to help. He took whatever jobs he could find, starting at 15, hauling trash for $5 an hour. His second gig? Spinning signs on the street dressed as Uncle Sam, pulling in $20 for a 3-hour shift. In 2011, prank videos were popping up on YouTube, and Vitali was looking for a creative way to join the pack. Then he found one. In 2012, Vitali hit viral gold with a video titled "Miami Zombie Attack Prank." Drenched in fake blood, he chased people around Miami's poorest neighborhoods, playing off a recent cannibal attack that had dominated headlines. The internet ate it up. The video exploded, and so did the outrage. Viewers quickly pointed out that most of his victims were black, and suddenly the prank didn't feel so harmless. Accusations of racism and exploitation followed fast. Oh, and this wasn't his first offense. Before that, he dressed up as a cop and falsely accused random black men of crimes because nothing says comedy like fake arrests. He got arrested himself, but the stunt worked. His subs jumped from 3,000 to 100,000 in a month. Then came the Russian hitman prank in June 2012.
I don't know which one is one of you. Your life, your choice. 60 seconds.
after being arrested for a bomb hoax. Police say
pretending to have a bag with an explosive in it.
Vitali, dressed like a mobster, handed a guy a briefcase and said it would explode in 60 seconds. Because fake bomb threats are hilarious, right? Chaos broke out, the guy tackled him, cops showed up, and Vitali got hit with a felony charge that could have meant 15 years in prison. The charges were dropped, but the message was clear. Vitali wasn't slowing down. While he occasionally tossed in feel-good content, like giving a homeless man a makeover, his real formula was clear. Shock, outrage, repeat. In 2013, he struck YouTube gold with his gold digger prank, where a woman rejected him until he revealed a Lamborghini.
Oh, now you want to. Too bad. I don't like gold diggers.
The video hit 18 million views in a week. By 2014, Vitali wasn't just another prankster. He was a full-blown internet celebrity. 10 million subscribers, press coverage, and even a feature film deal. But as Vitali's fame grew, so did his appetite for chaos. The pranks had to get bigger, riskier, crazier. So here's the brilliant idea he cooked up. Pull a massive stunt during a globally televised event. In July 2014, he stormed a football pitch during the World Cup in Brazil. That's right. While Germany and Argentina battled it out, Vitali darted onto the pitch, hijacking one of the world's most watched events for a few seconds of fame. He got caught and arrested for that. But still, he made new fans. Then, in 2016, he made headlines again after climbing the Hollywood sign. A few months later, he interrupted the NBA Finals, shirtless, with "Trump sucks" scrawled across his chest. And not long after that, he took another joy run onto a Major League Baseball field in Houston. This was becoming his thing. But things changed. YouTube tightened the screws on content guidelines. And as you can predict, this affected our prankster. Several of Vitali's videos got demonetized, restricted, and yanked down left and right. Suddenly, the prank king wasn't making much off his channel anymore. So he pivoted. Mr. Vitali decided to set up his own personal site, Vitali Uncensored, a home for his edgier content that YouTube no longer allowed. But here's the twist. He used YouTube to promote it, despite their strict policy against linking to adult content. Nearly every video description had a link to the site, and eventually, YouTube hit back with a strike. By then, Vitali was blacklisted. YouTube wasn't coming to the rescue, so he needed a new way to push his site. And the method he chose was, well, ethically questionable at best. In June 2019, he pressured his girlfriend into streaking at the Champions League final in Madrid, wearing nothing but a Vitali Uncensored swimsuit. Later, she revealed he threatened to dump her if she refused. Not long after, his own mother got dragged into the chaos. She stormed the field at the Cricket World Cup, despite suffering from severe anxiety and reportedly not sleeping for 5 days. None of it seemed to faze him. By this time, Vitali had morphed into a full-time international menace. Each stunt earned him brief jail time and bans from events, but also millions of views and international press. He was addicted to the adrenaline and the attention. Vitali was living life like a video game, upping the difficulty each time. Then came his final desperate move, illegally climbing the pyramids of Giza. He was arrested for 5 days, but still that didn't reignite his fame. It just got him more backlash. And after that, Vitali vanished. But on April 12th, 2020, he resurfaced. And this time, it wasn't for a prank. It was a crime. In a quiet Miami Beach neighborhood, a woman was out jogging, minding her own business, when Vitali, shirtless, wild-eyed, lunged at her from nowhere. He tackled her to the ground and started beating her, punching her in the face and chest until she was left bloodied, screaming for help, with a deep gash above her eye that needed stitches. She didn't even know who he was. Neighbors called the cops, and Vitali tried hiding in a nearby house. But Miami police weren't playing. He was arrested at gunpoint and charged with felony aggravated battery. And finally, his silly fans were fed up with his foolery. Everyone criticized the madness. Vitali was granted $7,500 bail and walked out of jail, but his reputation was shattered. These days, Vitali is better known as a streamer than a YouTuber, and that's largely because, after the 2020 assault incident, his YouTube career all but flatlined. The audience that once gave him tens of millions of views every week? Gone. The few people still watching weren't fans. They were just there to see the train wreck unfold. After realizing he'd never reclaim the peak YouTube fame he had around 2015, Vitali had a diabolic plan. Toward the end of 2023, he jumped on the kick streaming trend. His first move was to go back to the same old strategy: lean heavily on women and shock value to chase easy views.
One reason and one reason only: to pick up black girls like you and eat them out like there's no tomorrow.
But the audience wasn't responding the way he'd hoped. Then came what he probably thought was a genius idea: live streaming confrontations with adults that touched kids. And he would humiliate these disgusting individuals on stream.
Stop moving. Don't move. Don't move. You want to eat the chip or go to jail? We're waiting for the cops, brother. You didn't want to dress up as a clown to try. What? Stop. You're fucking aggressive. You're aggressive. Now you're folding. Be a fucking man and own up what you did.
His numbers spiked. People assumed he'd turned a new leaf and was finally doing something good. But the reality was way different. His methods were over the top, like he cared more about clout than actually catching creeps. And worse, his content was so messy and unprofessional that none of it could hold up in court. Meanwhile, Vitali and his streamer friends were raking in cash. Eventually, people lost interest. This would somehow lead to a comeback that would cost him his freedom. But before we unravel how Vitali's actions led to one of the biggest downfalls in YouTube history, let's take a moment to look at the wealth and luxury he enjoyed, right before making the biggest mistake of his career. At this point, we all know Vitali is chaotic, but that never got in the way of his obsession with living large. The man spent money as recklessly as he made it, and he made plenty. Though, to be fair, it's hard to say which of the luxurious cars he actually owned and which were just rented for show. Still, it's clear he raked in a ton of money. Estimates peg his net worth somewhere between $5 million and $8 million, thanks to a cocktail of YouTube ad revenue, merch sales, a subscription-based adult content platform, brand sponsorships, and even real estate. The Russian YouTuber lived loud, splitting his time between two luxury homes, one in Los Angeles and another in Florida. He was often seen hanging out with celebrities and popular streamers. One day it's Justin Bieber at SoulCycle, the next it's Snoop Dogg, Marshmello, and Steve Aoki. He even collaborated with rappers like YG, The Game, and Ty Dolla $ign in vigilante-style stunts. Some of those partnerships stirred controversy, and frankly, a few seemed just a little too perfectly staged. Oh, and he once claimed to have dropped $300,000 to get Quavo in a project that never happened. He starred in Natural Born Pranksters, one of the first feature-length YouTuber films, alongside Roman Atwood and Dennis Rohde. You might also recall seeing that name scribbled across his chest during that infamous World Cup streak. Yeah, that was a marketing stunt. So with money, influence, and more celebrity contacts than most Hollywood agents, you'd think he'd just sit back and enjoy it all. But nah, something always seemed to push him over the edge. Eventually, it caught up with him, and this time it ruined him. Now it's 2025. Vitali's 33, old enough to know better but still out here chasing clout like it's 2013. And for reasons only he could explain, and probably shouldn't, he decided it'd be a great idea to fly to the Philippines and harass locals in the name of internet pranks. This might be the moment he nuked whatever was left of his life. He streamed himself hopping on a security guard's patrol bike and trying to ride off. He tried to kiss a guard, harassed women in the street, At one point, he stole an electric fan from a restaurant and casually carried it into a hotel. Plus, he trespassed into a McDonald's kitchen, faked being a cook, and then stole food. Vitali was a full-on menace and somehow convinced he was being hilarious. What he didn't realize was that the Philippine authorities were watching too, and they were not amused. On April 2nd, 2025, during yet another chaotic live stream, the police finally shut him down. Vitaly Zdorovetskiy was arrested and hit with 7 separate charges: attempting to kiss and grab a security guard, trying to seize a firearm, recording people without consent, mocking local security, filming in BGC without a permit, harassing an elderly woman, and harassing an instructor in Boracay. And this wasn't just a delete your channel and apologize situation. It got so bad that President Bongbong Marcos publicly commented on the case, promising that Vitali would be made an example of, warning foreigners not to come to the Philippines just to stir chaos. So, what is his situation now? Currently, Vitali's locked up at the Bureau of Immigration Bicutan Detention Center. And let's just say, it's not exactly influencer-friendly. Rusted bars, foul water, cockroaches, rats, overcrowding. Basically the Yelp review from hell. Now, what's his best-case scenario? Well, not great. Authorities have made it clear, no bail, no early release. Thanks to a painfully slow court system, his trial won't even begin for another 2 to 3 years. That means Vitali is stuck in detention until at least 2027, possibly 2028, just waiting. And even if, by some miracle, he's acquitted on all charges, that's still years of his life gone. But let's be honest, he filmed every single crime himself and blasted it online like a highlight reel. So yeah, the more likely outcome? Up to 24 years in prison. Not exactly the comeback content he had in mind. So, that's the rise and spectacular fall of Vitaly Zdorovetskiy, a man who mistook chaos for content and ended up trading views for a jail cell. On the other side of the drugs and a decade of clout chasing lies a pretty pathetic ending. The moral of the story? Play stupid games, win stupid prizes, and for this YouTube OG-turn-reckless streamer, he won himself a ticket to a roach-infested cell. For more deep dives into the fascinating lives of the rich, famous, and infamous, click on the next video here. Behind every fortune is a story worth telling, or worth exposing. See you on the other one.